Started. Right. Hello, everyone. It's Brenda Miller. I'm Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and we are here tonight to make our paper pumpkin kit from the September kit. It was called Autumn Abundance, and we're going to make one of each of the projects so that everyone can at least open it and use it a little bit, and hope then maybe be inspired to finish the kit or do some other things with the kit later. So let's go ahead and get started. Hop over to my desktop. Okay, so we've got our kit in a regular box, and we'll take out our supplies. So we get a Cajun Craze ink pad. Always good to have. It's a lovely neutral, really. Although I believe it's a regal. What do we call that? The rich royal colors. So that's the Cajun Craze, and I'll be using my large pad as I usually do. And so let's go through our package. Oh, and I didn't mention that we got our lovely little stamp set. And it's a great thank you set and sending autumn wishes your way, thinking of you, good to have, and some leaves, etc. So kind of fun. We'll work with that. Uh, we have some mini dimensionals. So we'll be using those. And let's, as I go through, we'll make our piles for card number 1, card number 2, and card number 3. So this first piece is just a piece of Cajun Craze, one side, and that's card number 1. You can put your other pieces aside. These are actually the envelopes for card number 1. You can see it's going to be a square, a small square. And so we have our specialty envelopes, and the inside is that lovely pecan pie color, and flap has a nice design on it too. So we're not going to use the envelopes though tonight, so you can put those aside. Next step, we have more envelopes, getting them out of the way early. And you can see that they are the regular size. They come in 2 designs. There we go. And they also have a colorful inside as well as the flap on the back. So that's nice. Usually it's one or the other. And this time we have both. Okay, our first card base is the square one, and it has the hole on one side. That's card number 1. Next up, we have, oh, I didn't point out, well, that one doesn't have it, but check out the foiling on the next card base. Isn't that pretty? I believe, I don't know what color this is considered. Is that the bronze foiling, maybe? But that's going to be the card base for card number 2. Again, extras go to the side. Next up, we've got a couple of sheets of die cuts. We're going to actually punch out everything from one sheet on this one, and we're going to separate them. So I'm holding it like this, and I'm going to do the tree trunk first, and that's going to go to card number 1. The cute little snail goes to card number 1. The mushroom is going to card number 1. And all 3 of these leaves are going to go to card number 3. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. So we've got that. And the last item on that sheet is the strip, Cajun Craze, and that also goes to card number 3. So we do have some people doing this class with me, and I'm just going to check with them to see how they're doing. Give me a thumbs up when you're all set with these. All right. I'll just wait another minute or so. Okay. So now the next card base is the tree trunk. And this also has that pretty foiling, and that's going to be the base for card number 3. And then we'll move on. And I had to slide mine in the other way because these little laser cuts fall out really easily. So it's giving you a heads up on that. You've got, so now I can't tell what came next, but there are 4 sheets. Okay. You have a sheet of these lovely glue dots. And what's nice about these are a little bit bigger than we usually get. So that's with those glue dots. And we have a sheet that has some very delicate dies, like I said. So the one I'm working with here has the foiling on it. We're going to use the one foil leaf, and that goes with card number 3. There are circles with stitching, and that goes to card number 2. And you can see things are falling out of my thing here. And the last thing we're going to take off of this sheet is the half wreath, I'm going to call it. Carefully punch that out. And that one is going to card number 2. Okay. Let's see. And then just carefully put your other pieces aside. I just was trying to keep it intact so I could show you what I was doing. If they fall out, that's up to you. So I'm going on to the next sheet of die cuts. This has some blue leaves. These blue leaves are going to go with card number 2. And there's a big yellow leaf. That big yellow leaf, it's the same design as one we punched out just previously, the foil one, and they're going to go together on card number 3. I don't even know what to call this. These leaves that look kind of like a crab, if you ask me. I don't know. But I don't know. It looks like eyebrows, right? I don't know what to call this thing. But anyway, this thing goes with card number 2. And finally, we have these little wild wheat leaves, and that's going to go with card number 2 as well. So you can see the rest are in your sheet for the other cards. How did we do with that, ladies? When you're done with separating those, just give me a thumbs up so I know before I go on. Okay. All right, so finally we have our label die cuts. And so there's one that has a rounded edge, partially rounded edge. That one goes with card number 1. And the one that has the banner edge is going to go with card number, I think 3. Yep, card number 3. And the rest you'll save for your other cards. And that's it. Those are all our pieces. So once we all have that and are ready to go, we will get started. If you haven't already opened your ink pad, you're going to want to do that. So if you're using the spot, you can just cut it along a line here and just flip it open. Again, I'm using my full-size pad because I can. And what I do is I save the spots and I give them away. So I've got my ink pad here. And the first thing we're going to start with for card number 1 is the little label tag on card number 1. Okay. So we're going to pull out the saying that says, sending autumn wishes your way. And peel that off. And you can put that on your block. Like so. And you're just going to ink it up and stamp it down right onto there. I didn't put my glasses on yet, which is silly. Stamp this and then we'll get them. Ah, not too bad considering I can barely see it. Not bad at all. Right. You girls do that. I'm going to find my glasses. They're here. You only knew what was going on in this room. Different pair. Okay. So, how's everybody doing with that stamping? One thumbs up, two thumbs up. All right. Is that a thumbs up, Sheila, or is that a Sheila had it going sideways, so she had me worried there for a second. Okay. The next thing we want to stamp, and you might want to consider using a different block for it because we're going to use it on all the cards. And that is this little sprig stamp. So if you have a second block, you can put it on there. And if not, you just peel it off and go back and forth, and that's fine too. So we're going to use this little sprig, and let me show you what we're going for so that you have an idea. This is the card we're making, and so this is going to be in the background. And can you see that's where they put that little sprig? That was really the only part that we used it for on this card. So I'm going to stamp it down into the corner, coming out of the bottom right corner, like so. And that way, when we add it to the card, it will show through that little window, which is really sweet. Simple enough. You can close up your ink pad when you're done with that. Wait, we'll use it again on the next one. All right. So to get this on the inside of our card, so remember, this is what we're dealing with. We're going to fold the cards like so on the score line. Nothing fancy there. Give it a nice score. And I'm going to show you the trick that I use for this. And we want it to come through the window. And it's not quite, if you look at it from the inside, it's not quite as big as the card front. There's a little edge going all the way around, and that's fine. So what I like to do is place the piece that I'm going to be adhering, and I put it on the bottom, so and then I can test it, see if it's in exactly where I want it. I'm going to open it back up, and then I'm going to be tricky. I am going to take my adhesive and just put a little adhesive in each corner on the front side, so the side that has the stamping on it. Now you just want to use a little bit in each corner because you don't want to take the chance of it showing through the window or adhering to the back of the card. And once you've got those 4 little pieces, all you have to do is close the card and it is going to stay and be exactly where you want it. This is my little trick. Just a little trick. All right, so when you get that done, give me a thumbs up. Take your time. So love the colors in this kit. Definitely reminds you of fall, autumn. So pretty. And I love that they give us this little snail. We had a snail like this a while ago, and it's just super cute. Except he doesn't have the little smile on his face. I might have to add a smile. We'll see. Maybe not today. I'll do that later. Okay. Lynn, you all set there? Okay. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and assemble the rest of our card. Now I'm pulling out my little silicone mat just so that I don't mess up my pretty pretty paper that's on the bottom. But what we're going to start with is that little Oh, I lied. The little half wreath. Remember when we did that little half wreath? It actually went with card number one. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, obviously I was thinking it was on card number two. So look at your card number two pile and pull out that little half wreath because that goes on card number one. And we're going to put it on like this. And we're just going to use regular adhesive for that. So you can use your wet or um your whatever you prefer. Any of those. Put those on. And it's kind of like we're putting it on like a half moon, like a crescent. But we're not going to see very much of it, as you can see on the finished card. It shows there just a little bit, which seems like such a waste, but it is there. And so it looks like that. And then we're going to take our sentiment and we're going to put some regular adhesive on that. We're going to put it right across the top, towards the top. And we want it to lay straight. And you can see that it adheres actually to the little back panel. So nothing's going anywhere. We've got that in there nice and secure. The rest of our pieces are going to be adhered with dimensionals. Okay. Oh, you know what? I did two things wrong. I am so sorry. This leaf that I said looks like a crab or I don't know, eyebrows or something. That one I said was card number two is actually card number one as well. So go to your pile for card number two and pull that out. Need that as well. But all the pieces are going to go on with some dimensionals. So the first one that gets applied is the tree cut. And we're going to put our dimensionals. Oh, go. And because we're using the minis, I'm going to use two on the back. Could be pulling out my regular ones, but I'm going to stick with the kit today. I'm a little crazy using the kit like it's supposed to be used. What's up with that? And that goes right about here. So it's covering the bottom portion of that little half wreath. Okay. If you want, you could have it touching the sentiment strip or not. And then next piece that goes on is our little, I don't even know what to call this, these little leaves. And again, we're going to use some dimensionals. However, we are going to overlap it here with something that's already raised up. So we want to be sure not to put an additional, we don't want to put an additional dimensional there because it's going to lift it and make it sit even higher. So I'm just going to put one in the middle. And that is how I'm going to secure that down. And it just goes like so towards the bottom of the card. So we've put on only two pieces so far with the dimensionals. We've got the tree cut, and then we've got those funky leaves. And then we're going to put our snail on. Now with the snail, we got to find room to put the snail. So what I'm going to do, and this is my little trick, you can do it as you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and put a one dimensional right down underneath that lower leaf. And that is how I'm going to end up securing my snail. If you want to, you can also try to find where the other piece goes or put one right on his antennas. One of these little dimensionals will work. I'm going to go ahead and do that too, so I can show you. So I'm going to put one way up here, the top. And then I had one that was right here on my card base. I'm going to stick that down. And so the key is that I don't want to have extra layers of dimensionals, okay? I don't want things getting so popped up, okay? And I like to put this snail right at the bottom because, you know, he's on the ground. So I don't want him floating in the air. But you can do whatever you like. And then the last thing is just the mushroom. And we'll put that on with a couple of dimensionals. And that's going to go on the right side of the circle, whatever you like. And everything. Where we put this one? So it's just a collage of a whole bunch of different die cuts. And it's a cute little size that you can use as a gift card. I'm not sure that this actually would be mailable. You might have to check that. That just occurred to me that it might not be mailable, but it's certainly great for a gift card.
What size does it have to be to mail it?
I'm not positive. That's what I was just thinking. We could go and do a Google search. I can find that.
Because it's so
You could
cute.
always put it in a regular size envelope,
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
true.
so.
You could also put it, that's right. But my computer doesn't like when I do it while I'm on a Zoom. Smallest mailable envelope size. I'm just typing on another screen I have here. Let's see. Well, you know, they try to sell me things first. Let's see. Minimum size is 3.5 inches by 5 inches. So,
Oh,
yeah. So it certainly doesn't meet the width.
no.
Yeah. Boy, now I mixed up my cards. Okay. Let me just let me get back into my grid here. Okay. So anyway, but that's all there is to this card. So are we just have to get back over to you guys. Are we good to move on? Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Let me just close that out. See what I can. Oh, still says. Okay, we'll give it a shot. Okay, so put that aside and we're going to move on to card number 2. So this beautiful card only has a couple of things on it. It's got the circle and the 2 leaves. Okay, that's it on this card. So let's go ahead and stamp on our circle. This one they put thinking of you. Here's how the card is going to look. So we will grab our ink pad. And again, this is where we are going to be using this stamp on this card as well. It's in the background, and I'll show you where that goes. But we do want to grab the saying that says thinking of you. And I'm just going to pull off the one from the last card here and add this. The beautiful thing about stamping on a circle is that even if you're crooked, you can straighten it out just by turning the circle. So I'm just going to stamp that thinking of you right in the center. Okay, like I said, if it was crooked, I would just turn the circle a little bit. Easy peasy. So that's our sentiment. I like that they have a little bit of that fun stitching with foiling. This is up the whole card a little bit. And then we're going to stamp using that same sprig stamp. And I guess they felt it needed a little bit more going on in the background, so they did this twice. They stamped one here. See how that looks? I'll show you. And that's where one of them is. And the second one It's just going to be a little bit lower than that. And to be honest, most of it gets covered anyway, but it's okay. I'm going to do what they say. So here's the second one. So I stamped one up here and one down here. Easy enough. If you wanted to, you could do the back. You could stamp more if you wanted to. Stamp on the inside. But that is what they are recommending. And that's all for the stamping on this card. So you can put those aside. And for the next card. So we're going to be applying these pieces shortly. But the sentiment is actually going to go down with regular adhesive. Okay, so whenever you're ready to do that, you're just going to use your regular adhesive. And of course, you can put it anywhere, but this is where it was recommended. Right there. Now, one thing I didn't do yet is fold the cards. So let's do that really quickly. Also, I like to work with it flat, especially if I'm stamping. And that's how that looks. And that looks pretty good, even just by itself, but we're going to add some leaves. And those are those pretty die cuts, laser cuts, actually. We've got some wild wheat and some, I'm going to call it Misty Moonlight. I don't know, maybe. So these leaves, now these are all going to go on with dimensionals. And this is where, I guess this is what they were trying to teach us on this card, is how to even take your little mini dimensionals and cut them down. Because dimensionals are so strong, I just don't feel like you need to go crazy, but they used the 3 dimensionals right on the back of the blue flowers. Okay, so we're gonna put those on, peel off the backings, and that goes right at the bottom. And just make sure that you can leave room for your Y. Okay, see that Y? I just did it kind of in the middle. So it looks like that. And it definitely does add something to have it popped up. Easy peasy. And it's on this little wild wheat one that we run into trouble because some of these leaves are just so tiny. So first I'm going to add the full-size mini dimensional. Sounds funny. Full-size mini to those 2. And then I'm going to take one and I'm going to cut it in half. Now, you could also just use the edges, but they cut with a regular pair of scissors. Now, you don't want to use anything that you mind getting sticky because it is cutting through adhesive. But once you cut it in half, you peel that off, and then you have a little teeny, extra mini dimensional, and you can use the 2 halves of that little mini and put it onto the other leaves. And then this way, all the leaves are secure. They're not going to go anywhere. And they look so pretty because they're popped up. So, fingernail trouble, trying to peel them off. And once you have that, you're going to put it onto the card, just going the other way. And again, just making sure I'm not covering any part of the U, Y-O-U. And that's it. So just a little something extra, but it definitely does make a difference when you put all these dimensionals on. Like I said, I tend to hoard my dimensionals and I'm a minimalist because I feel that they're very strong, but when it comes to something like this, sometimes it's worth it to do that extra little effort to get them to stay nicely. Okay. How did we do, ladies? Good. All right. I know, little teeny tiny pieces. All right, we're on to our last card. Sheila, you good? Okay, great. We'll move on to our last one. And this has a bunch of leaves. Now, I'll tell you, they went a little crazy on this one, considering there are only two things on the last card. They're putting a whole bunch of stuff on this one. They're making another little collage with all 5 of the different leaves, and then the banner with the stabilizing area too. So all we have to do, let's fold our card, and you can decide which you want as your card front, but they use the big tree trunk side as the front. I think it would look kind of cool like that too. Pretty. And we're just going to start laying down our leaves. So you've got these big leaves, and this is what you're kind of going for. It's kind of in an L, a backwards L, and then a third leaf in the center. So we're going to glue these down like that. Okay, so again, we're using regular adhesive, so whatever your preference is, or you can use the glue dots, of course, that are included in the kit. So we've got 1, and 2, and we've got our third one. And we'll go across the center. Kind of like almost like a little fan of leaves. Lois, I think that even after all I cooked today, Lucas is not necessarily a fan of all that food. I think he's eating lasagna for dinner. I may not even get to taste it.
You're kidding me. No, that should be enough to save you some.
I don't know.
No.
The growing boy. I hear him up there making his dinner. Yes,
Tell him
Lois.
to stand down.
Yeah, seriously, save me a bite, you know? We'll see. Maybe I'll get some. Lois dropped off some food for me. She's very generous. She's an amazing cook. All right, so we've got our 3 leaves glued down, and so then we're gonna go ahead and stamp. Oh shoot. They did have some stamping. I can't believe I missed it, but they did stamp a little in the background here. So I'm going to say either you can peel up yours and stamp down, and I'm sorry I missed it, or maybe on the next card, you go ahead and do that. They just stamped one little sprig coming out to the side. Again, I'm sorry. I just forgot that they did that. I even told you that we stamped this on every card, and I still forgot. So that's up to you if you want to do that. You can skip it on this one, do it on the next one. All right, and then this card uses the with thanks, which is always nice to have. Of course, use whatever you like. If you have other sentiments in your stash, and I do believe that this, the one we used on the first card would also fit on this particular banner. So we are going to just stamp that down. And thanks. Okay. Oh, for everybody to get that stamped. And we'll be able to put together the rest of the cards. Can't believe I did that. Food. The good news is it's really not a key element on the card. All right, so once you've got that stamped, we're going to take our other 2 leaves and they are going to get added to our little collage. And again, these are going on with regular adhesive. I'm just going to put some on there. And they're basically making it like a V, just to give it that little depth with all these pretty leaves. All pretty. Little shimmer. And then we're going to use our mini dimensionals on this strip. See that the strip has the slanted edges, which is always nice. And we're going to be laying it across, oops, and almost to the edge. And again, we're going to use dimensionals. So I'm going to use 3 on here, on each side and 1 in the middle. Yeah. Here's the bottom. And it looks like that. And then we're going to be overlapping. We'll just talk through this first, but we're going to be overlapping our with thanks. And so we want to make sure we don't put more dimensionals right on top of that. So we're going to put a little regular adhesive at the bottom of the with thanks, and that's going to adhere to our Cajun Craze strip. And then we'll put a couple of dimensionals at the top so that when we lay it down, it's okay. Now, another thing that I like to do in this situation is actually put the dimensionals here on the card, and that way I don't have to worry about accidentally getting it into the area that is on the Cajun Craze. Here we go. So I'm putting my dimensionals right on there. Can't say that's how they recommend doing it. So if you don't like that idea, feel free to just ignore me. But I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive at the bottom here. So I mentioned, oops, can I see it? All right, oh, there it is. I'll just put a little bit of adhesive at the bottom. Take off the tops. All of these. And then we can lay that down. And I like the way that the banner looks. Getting it straight is always recommended, if you can do that. I like the way that this strip actually comes out at the end and shows a little bit of the beginning. Just a different way to make it pop off of the page and make it the focal point that's what people are looking for, and everything else is just in the background. So that's it. That's it for this kit. So let's take a look while you're finishing up at some alternative projects. Took my glasses off. I'm going to put them back on. So I'm going to share my screen in 1 second. Let me just get back over so that I do it properly here. Okay. I'm going to share. And I'm going to set up the slideshow. Put it into PowerPoint. And just all right, so our first set of cards is from Allison Ephraim. She's a member of my team, and I love all of the different alternative projects that she does. But see how she took the card base? This was just the card base from card number 2, and she cut it into 3 different panels and was able to mount it onto some coordinating cardstock and very easily get, you know, these 3 different cards. And I just love the way that looks. She did the same thing here where she separated it into 2 and then mounted it on some Cajun Craze. And there you go. You've got 5 cards right away. Next one, this is from Amy Wilson. And what she did is she did the same thing, except she cut it into strips and she mounted them on some coordinating cardstock. And then she ran it through an embossing folder. And this is the fall leaf embossing folder. Might be leaf fall. but anyway, so she did that. So you can see that you have that little extra texture there. And it looks pretty cool. Next up is, this is Coco. And what she did was she took the, she used, well, I'm getting it and you can't even see it, but she used the negative space of the 3 leaves that we put on that final card. And she used it to daub color on the inside and made leaves that way, just by using it as a stencil. So that's kind of a cool background. And then she die cut some leaves out of gold paper and added that. Something fun. Okay, move on. All right, so we've got just a really simple fun fold here. This is one of those little, it's not even really a Z fold. It's you know, you fold the card, you make a regular card front and you take the cover and you fold it back halfway. And that's how you end up with that fold. And then she just decorated the card using that same card base and that she had cut into pieces. So that's Diane Watt. And then she used a whole bunch of the die cuts and maybe even daubed some color onto them using the back sides. That was pretty cool. Here's a whole bunch of cards from Karen Titus, and she did pretty much the same thing. So you can see the theme here is taking the card bases and cutting it into pieces that you can put together. She also did some fun folds. She did an angle fun fold here. I'm not sure what this one is, but it looks like it closes up, tucks underneath that U, the thinking of you. So some great ideas there. Okay, this is Laura Siki. I was watching her, she had posted a whole bunch of different samples, and these were just so much fun. She's using the Changing Leaves embossing folder, and she also she took the card front from the smaller card and mounted it and actually put it on and made it into one of these fun fold cards, which is kind of cool. And I like what she did here by making this snail here actually is, you pull on this little piece of paper and you pull it out and the snail will move across the card. So that was a cute idea too. So a lot of pretty things and novel ideas there. This is Leah Dixon, and just some simple ways of, cutting the card front, mounting it on other cardstock, and then even decorating using some of the other stamps in the kit. Okay. Then we have Robin Carr, and she used the paper along with the Frosted Forest stamp set that has the shading. We've done that in a class recently. So she made, she added that as kind of just DSP to these different cards, which is a nice way to use that. We've got this one. Ruth Ann made it into a shaker card. Anytime you see a circle, somebody's going to make that into a shaker. Just saying. It's going to happen. So very pretty, using the DSP as the card base is DSP again. And then I thought this one from Tanya was pretty cool. She cut it up using the postage stamp dies and then was able to using, I don't know where she got these stamps. We never really had these, or maybe we did a long time ago. But she added it and made it look like stamps, actual stamps, but still pretty cool the way she assembled it on the card. So I think that's it. Yep. So those are the different ideas. And I did want to just mention too, that, there is a coordinating set of, this is, I'm on the right place, sorry. This is a coordinating set of dies every celebration. And you can get this, it's this set is $12, but you get a leaf, right? Oh, this isn't the most current one. Do you have a more current one? This is what I get for trying to Be smart. Thanks and beyond. Anyway,
It's
there
Mary
are,
Tags and More is the current one.
what is it?
The new one
Yeah, it's called,
is Mary Tags and More, but
Mary
that would
Tags
be
and More.
starting October, right?
yeah. Do you have it there? Oh, no. Oh, I
Uh,
thought you had it in your hands.
oh, I did, but I have the upcoming one, yes.
Yeah, the dies.
Yeah. I
Okay,
just
can I highlight? Can I replace you? You can show us. Okay, yeah, so it's got a little tag. It's got the Mary and the that fern leaf, which is really nice. I do have it too, but I probably have it on my other desk because I just got it. Go ahead. Yeah. Yep, pretty cool.
Good.
Anyway, anybody can get that. You can add that to your orders. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. Anybody have anything else that they want to talk about or add about which card was your favorite out of all of these?
The little one.
The little one had lots of fun
Yeah.
pieces, right?
Yeah, I wish it were bigger.
Yeah.
I think I like the one that was very plain. This one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite too. But you can
Not
also,
too much white space, though. It needs something up in the white space.
You could always add something. That's true.
Yep.
Yep. So
and this one, I think you could just mount this, stack this up and then put it on a bigger piece of cardstock.
sure. Yeah. You
Yeah,
cut it in half and then do that.
And you'd have the second hand.
Yeah.
And if you have the punch, you could do another circle.
Yeah. Yep. Awesome. All right, ladies, thank you so much for joining. And I'm coming to all of you next week. But anyway, be well until then. And thank you for joining.
Good night, Brenda.
Bye.
Bye.